Good morning to all. Today I'd want to discuss the necessity for enhancing the rights of individuals with disabilities in Lebanon, as well as the barriers that prevent them from implementing those rights. People with disabilities in Lebanon confront substantial barriers to exercising their fundamental rights. Physical barriers like inaccessible buildings and transportation, as well as social barriers as stigma and discrimination in healthcare, education, and employment. The absence of the proper policy, regulation, and practices causes this issue and restricts people with disability from fully engaging in society. However, the technology can play a role in advancing the rights of people with disabilities and ensuring their inclusion. Firstly, I will describe the term disability and its main feature. Secondly, I will examine how people with disabilities face barriers and which it prevents them from several rights and on many different levels. Thirdly, I'll emphasize the need to be done, what needs to be done so that people with disabilities have equal access to the community and have their opinion heard equally to other normal people. Finally, I will emphasize the role of technology regarding the topic and the risks it generates. The term disability is used to describe the variety of physical, mental, and sensory impairment that may make it difficult for a person to carry out daily tasks. Disabilities might be obvious or invisible, developed later in life or present from birth. Disability is not a personality trait that someone is born with. Rather, it results from how that person interacts with their environment, which can either help or block their capacity to fully participate in society. The main features of disabilities are impairment in physical, cognitive, sensory, or mental functions. Participation challenges. A person with a limitation may have barriers to fully engaging in all parts of society, and prejudice and discrimination. Now, people with disabilities face some barriers on the social level. For example, healthcare. Due to the poor availability of and shortage of specialized services and prejudice on the part of healthcare professionals, people with disabilities in Lebanon may find it difficult to obtain the proper healthcare services. For instance, certain medical facilities might not be able to accommodate patients with physical limitations, and medical professionals might not be attentive to patients with physiological issues. In terms of education, some schools and universities might not be set up to assist students who have physical or mental disabilities and might not have the resources to do so. When it comes to employment, due to the discrimination and the lack of accommodation in the workplace, people who have disabilities may find it difficult to get employment, and employers may not provide the required discounts to let them carry out their work responsibilities. In addition to all that, receiving additional services such as housing and transportation, people with physical disabilities may not be able to use many of Lebanon's public transportation systems, and they may not be many accessible housing options available. Due to this, it may be challenging for those who are disabled to live independently and take part in the society. Now that we have defined the term disability and its main features and barriers, let's talk about what needs to be done to ensure that a person with disabilities have equal access to community and have their opinions heard equally like other normal people. First, accessibility. Ensuring that a person with disabilities have access to public venues, transportation, and means of communication is critical to fostering their inclusion and involvement in the community. For example, many people with disabilities in Lebanon experience challenges to accessing public areas and transportations. Furthermore, many public transportation systems are deficient in accessibility features such as wheelchair ramps and audio announcements. Improving accessibility in public places and transportation can aid promoting equitable and the access of participation for individuals with disabilities. Second, empowerment. People with disabilities in Lebanon should be given the ability to speak up for themselves and participate fully in all parts of society. Many persons with disability endure stigma and prejudice in Lebanon, which may prevent them from fully participating in their communities. For example, they may be excluded from decision-making processes affecting their lives, or their ideas may be rejected or ignored. This may be this may be accomplished through disability advocacy organization, accessible input, and engagement mechanism, and this inclusion of individuals with disability in leadership roles. Now that we have talked about what needs to be done to ensure that persons with disabilities have equal access to the community, let's move to the importance of technology regarding this topic and some of its risks. Technology is a potential key factor in ensuring the inclusion of individuals with disabilities in the society and furthering their rights. People with disabilities may be able to access information, communicate, and carry out everyday duties more independently with the use of technological aids, including screen readers, software that recognizes voices, and adaptive equipment. Additionally, technology can enable remote availability of opportunities and services like telehealth and technology and online education, which can improve accessibility and convenience for people with disabilities. However, technology includes some risks, such as possible access restrictions if technology is not created with accessibility in mind, as well as issues related to security and privacy when personal data is shared over digital platforms. As a result, it is critical to take a balanced approach in improving the rights of a person with disabilities, carefully examining both the benefits and possible dangers of technology. Now that we have emphasized the importance of technology regarding this topic, let's move to the conclusion. In conclusion, improving the rights of people with disabilities in Lebanon is not just an issue of justice and human rights. It is also a practical requirement for the well-being and full involvement of all members of society. While numerous barriers remain, such as accessibility and empowerment, there is still hope for progress. We can create a more fair, dynamic, and fulfilling community for everybody if we work together as a society to remove these obstacles and encourage equal access to and participation for persons with disabilities. We must continue to raise awareness about the problems that individuals with disability face in Lebanon, as well as campaign for their rights and needs and shedding light on the benefits and risks of the usage of technology to ensure a better treatment. By doing so, we can create a more equitable and fair society in which everyone may fulfill their greatest potential. Thank you.